Hello, my name is Ralf Friedrichs. I'm an addiction recovery coach and the host of the Take Your Life Back Today show. A very sunny day out here in the Hamptons, Long Island, New York. As an addiction recovery coach, I want to share this about substance abuse, and I want to be crystal clear with you to leave an everlasting impact. Just imagine being buried alive. Let's say you're in a coffin, but you also know you're not dead. You don't know how to open the coffin and push the enormous weight of the dirt that's upon the lid. You think about giving up and waiting for death to arrive. But then you also start banging on the coffin lid, hoping to unsettle the dirt so that maybe someone standing by the grave might notice and start digging their way down to help you. This is what it's like to find yourself at the lowest point of alcohol and drug addiction. You know you need help, you know you can't do it on your own, but you don't know who to turn to. In reality, there are probably people standing by your grave grieving the loss of you being gone, but you don't know that. You're just gasping for your last breath. Usually, though, people don't fear usually people don't think about death when they're habitually abusing drugs and alcohol. In order to feed an addiction, you have to be great at repressing the fear of death. I often ask you, my audience, did it ever cross your mind while you're abusing drugs and alcohol that maybe, just maybe, you might take something that was given to you, something so precious called life, that was given to you by the Almighty Jesus, that God has allowed you to wake up this morning, that you would abuse drugs and alcohol to take that away. Not just take your own life, but take it away from your children. Your life will be taken from your children, your husband, your wife, mother, father, whoever loves you. You're selfish when you overdose. You're not just hurting yourself. With this, I leave you with one last thought. Don't be the person that I'm reading about, laying in a coffin, hoping that someone might come down, dig their way down to help them. Instead, be a person that if you know you have an addiction problem, you know you have depression issues, you know you have low self-esteem or any other problem, that reaches out to people like me at 844-405-HELP and let me help take your life back. There are other people like Larry Geist from the Geist Academy. He's an addiction recovery coach, a life coach. He is a crutch like I am, and he and I always tell you folks, it doesn't matter where you came from. What matters is that you're here today and you're reaching out for help. Give him a call at 516-458-2741. Google him at www.odysseyconsultant.org. Larry Geist will help you. Lean on Larry Geist. Lean on somebody like me. Larry has helped many, many people. He is over 30 years experience, and all it takes is for you to pick up that phone. Unless you want to be like that person laying in a coffin when it's too late, knocking, banging on that lid, gasping for that last breath. Reach out to people like myself and Larry Geist. Call me at 844-405-HELP. Call Larry at 516-458-2741. Let Larry or myself help you take your life back. If you're watching this video and it's out of focus, it's not the video quality, folks. It's the quality of your glasses. It's time for a new pair of glasses. Are you looking around all those scratches, or is that anti-reflecting coating kind of peeling like a spider web? Well, maybe it's time for a new pair of glasses, and the nice thing is you don't even have to leave your home. All you have to do is go on www.globaleyeglasses.com, look at over 1,200 frames, metal, plastic, full frame, half frame, no frame at all. Look at the lenses like progressives, which are the no line bifocals, transitions, which change indoor and outdoors, photochromatics. They also have anti-reflecting coating, scratch coating, and UV coating. Polarized lenses for the sunny days like this when you look outside here in the Hamptons. All available at globaleyeglasses.com. The great thing is I have over 30 years experience, and I made a deal with Global Eyeglasses that anyone that calls to me directly at 631-599-0218, I would help them. I would give them some of my advice on which frame to pick and which lenses to pick. And if you do place an order, and I find out you did place the order, I'll make sure that you get a refund for the shipping of $5.95 for domestic shipments and $9.95 for Canadian ones. Folks, go to www.globaleyeglasses.com. Let them focus on saving you money. 12 ways to keep your family healthy while living with an alcoholic or a drug-addicted person. Anyone who lives with an alcoholic or drug-addicted person knows just how much the disease affects the workings and happiness of the entire family, not just the addicted. And though it would be best if your loved one could achieve permanent remission, it isn't always the case. Therefore, if you have decided that you wish to continue living with the person struggling with the addiction, you'd be wise to learn how to minimize the disease's negative influence on the family, as you also create a family dynamic that supports everyone in the family, including the addicted person. Ideally, in doing so, you will also create a dynamic within the family which gently encourages positive change instead of one which reinforces negative and harmful behaviors. So, from the experts at the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Administration, here are 12 tips for living as healthy and happily as possible at home that you share with somebody addicted to drugs and alcohol. Number 1, do not let negativity rule. Do not attempt to change your loved one's behaviors through nagging, threats, punishments, or other forms of other forms of threats. The odds of success are very low, and it's not very healthy or pleasant for anyone in the family to live in a household dominated by such negativity. Number 2, don't make it about you either. Getting emotional and acting out as the victim may help your loved one to feel more guilt, but it probably won't help them change their behavior. Number 3, do not take on the burden for yourself. You did not cause anyone to become an alcohol or drug addicted person, so you should not feel guilty or take responsibility for the disease of another person. Losing misplaced guilt helps you to focus your energies on what's true and on what can help to make things better. Number 4, get support and advice from a Al-Anon, from a therapist, or from self-help group or other similar situations. People like Larry Geis at 516-458-2741. Inform your addicted loved one that you are what you are doing to get support and why you feel they need it. Number 5, talk about drug or alcohol use openly. Don't get emotional, but don't try to hide the facts either as you talk to others in your family, including the substance abuser, about the reality and consequences of their behaviors. Number 6, using age-appropriate language and concepts. Explain alcoholism and addiction to children. They need to know that addiction is a disease, and that though it can be difficult, it is not shameful and does not need to be hidden, and it needs to be worked on by the entire family. Number 7, try to maintain a healthy and happy home, whether or not a loved one is drinking or using drugs, and try to include your loved one in the family activities as you would do with any other member. Try to make it as normal as possible for the loved one. Number 8, don't worry about hiding the evidence. If there are 20 bottles of wine in a recycling box out in the front, then that's how many there are, and it wasn't you who drank them. Number 9, don't worry about cleaning up anyone's messes. You don't want to enable substance abuse behavior, so you're much better off not covering for a hungover spouse or helping a hard partying high school kid get his or her assignments done. It's important that all people experience the true consequences of their actions. Otherwise, how can they ever learn, and how can they ever change to get better? Number 10, try not to have important discussions or arguments with a person who is drunk or high at the time of the discussion. They are a waste of energy and can be needlessly escalated while they're drunk or high. Number 11, don't try to keep up with them. If they drink too much, you won't become closer or better as a family if you try to drink a bit more too. It's just not a smart thing to do, and it doesn't work. Number 12, encourage your loved one to engage in interests and hobbies that aren't associated with the use of drug and alcohol. Nothing groundbreaking, but these above 12 very sensible rules that make a very difficult situation, living with an alcoholic or a drug user, as healthy as possible, in which create a family dynamic which moves away from needless and non-constructive conflict towards meaningful change. Let's just go over the 12 again. Number 1 was do not let negativity rule. And that doesn't just apply to having a person living in your home with an addiction. That applies with everyday life. Don't let negativity rule your life. Number 2, don't make it about you either. This is not your issue. You are not the victim. This person has a disease. You need to accommodate the disease as best as you can if, and I mean if, you want this person to live with you. Number 3, do not take on the burden for yourself. You do not cause anyone to become an alcoholic or drug addicted. So don't take the burden. Get it off your shoulder like that. Number 4, get support and advice from an Al-Anon therapist. People like Larry Geis, 516-458-2741. People like myself, 844-405-HELP. Number 5, talk about drug or alcohol use normally and openly. Your children need to see what's going on as long as there's no violence, because this will act as a template of what they don't want to do. Explain to them how alcoholism and drug addiction are diseases. Number 6, using age-appropriate language and concepts. Explain alcoholism and addiction to anyone that might not understand it clearly. Use the language that you see fit to fit the person you're speaking to. Number 7, try to maintain a healthy and happy home, whether or not a loved one is drinking or using drugs, and try to include your loved one in family activities as you would do with any other family member. Invite them out when you go out. Invite them to the dinner table. Don't alienate them. Number 8, don't worry about hiding the evidence. If there are 20 bottles of wine in that recycling bin, leave them. They are whoever drank them's situation. You did not drink them. You don't need to hide them. Number 9 is don't worry about cleaning up anyone else's messes. Don't worry about doing your children's homework. If it's your high school student that's drunk, if it's your spouse that can't get the chores done, you let them take care of it. It is important that all people experience the true consequences of their actions. Otherwise, how can they ever learn to change for the better? Number 10, try not to have important discussions or arguments with the person who is drunk or high. It's a waste of energy and a waste of time, and you might actually put fuel on the fire. If they're drunk or high, leave it alone. Number 11, don't try to keep up with them. If they drink too much, you won't become any closer by you starting to drink and drinking with them. Number 12, encourage your loved one to engage in interests and hobbies that are not, and I repeat, that are not associated with any sort of drug and alcohol. Nothing groundbreaking, but these above are 12 very sensible rules that make a very difficult situation living with an alcoholic or a drug user as healthy as possible, in which a family dynamic which moves away from needless and non-constructive conflict towards a better home. Anyone who lives with an alcoholic or drug addicted person knows just how much the disease affects the entire family. Everyone in the home is affected by it. The person with the alcohol issue or drug or both has mood swings, lashes out, hygienically is unappealing, lays around, drinks and smokes. It is tough. Therefore, if you have decided that you want this person to continue living with you, you would be wise to learn how to minimize the disease's negative influence by learning the 12 steps that we just talked about. Isn't it funny? I just gave you 12 ways for the 12 steps. Folks, let today be the first day of everyone, including your loved one with the alcohol or drug addiction, starting to be positive. Although maybe your loved one has alcohol issues and drug issues, there is something positive. And the positive thing is that they can get help. You can try your best to be a crutch for them to lean on, but eventually you might want to go with a professional to help you. Get a hold of people like Larry Geis, over 30 years experience, at 516-458-2741. Let Larry Geis help them. If you start thinking positive in your home, it'll rub off for everybody to start thinking positive. But if you're the type of person who's going to nag and only talk about how the glass is half empty, not half full, and all you talk about is the negative parts of everything going on in your home, it'll rub off to be a negative home. Start thinking positive. Don't enable the person that has the issue, but yet be a cushion for them to lean, a crutch for them to lean on. Let today be the first day of your new life. Let today be the first day of the person that has the addiction's new life. And tell this person that is sober today, I promise you, I really promise you, will start tomorrow a better tomorrow. I hope to God, no matter where you are watching me, that you adhere to these 12 steps on how to make your home a healthier, happier home living with an addicted person. I congratulate you that you even want this person to live with you and that you're accepting that. That is the first step of a positive situation. Please, no matter where you're watching me, try to be patient with people with addiction. Try to be open-minded with people with addiction. But more than anything, try to educate people with addiction. Try to lead by example. Show them that there is life, there is happiness, there is love without alcohol, without drugs. I hope to God, no matter where you are, you have the best day in your life. But I hope and I pray for each and every one watching me that no matter where you are, you have the best day, the most sober life you can ask for the rest of your life. And may God bless each and every one of you and have a great day.